In this lesson, we're going to continue to discuss nested styles. If you'd like to follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Working Files folder, go into Chapter number 8 and select a file called Line Styles and just click Open. I'm going to zoom in on the width of our document before we begin and scroll up just a bit. What are line styles? It's a way of quickly and consistently adding character styles to lines in a paragraph style. It's a nested style that can be applied to one or more full lines. Let me show you. You'll remember that the top part of our document has a style applied called Copy with red lead. And I'm just going to double click on that to go into the settings. And I'll move it slightly out of the way and go to Drop Caps and Nested Styles. And in the bottom of this section, there's something called Nested Line Styles. If I click New Line Style, and for the character style, if I select red bold caps, watch what happens. The first line is now red bold caps. I can do it 2 lines. Let me select my number 1, do access the field, and type a 2, and then just click off of it to apply it. And now you can see the first 2 lines in all of my text are red bold caps. Let me go back to 1 and just click off of it and click OK. One of the things with a feature like this is I always try to fool it just to see if it's always going to work. Like for instance, what would happen if I selected some of these words and just deleted them? And you can see all of the text that came back up onto that first line to replace what I deleted is now red bold caps. Well, what would happen if I added some text? You can see that only what will fit in that first line is going to be red bold caps. That's really kind of cool. But I wonder what would happen if I changed the number of columns. I'm going to go under the Object menu to Text Frame Options, and instead of 2 columns, I'm going to make it 3 and hit Preview. And you can see that still just the text that fits in that first line is red bold caps. So it really does work. Let me just hit Cancel. Now, this solves a very difficult problem. If you ever tried to do this manually, what would happen is you would select the first line and try to make it red bold caps. And because capital letters and bold letters take up more room in the width, some of what you selected and applied your red bold caps character style would end up in the second line. You would always have to go back and select whatever went over and apply none in the character styles panel. So it solves a very difficult problem. I can also add multiple line styles in a row. Let me show you. I'm going to go down to my next section, and you'll remember that that was address listings. Let me just scroll down and go back into my paragraph styles, and I'm going to double click on address listings. Line styles work really well for this because it's much quicker to apply line styles 1 line at a time when you do want an entire line to change style. And that's the case here, where we want our address listings to have names that are bold and caps, and then the next 2 lines bold and italic. So let's go into Drop Caps and Nested Styles and go to New Line Style. And you'll see how much faster this is because now I can choose names, bold caps, and as soon as I click off of it, it's done. And I can click new line style and apply my second style. How about bold italic? But instead of for just one line, I wanted to do 2 lines. And I can just click off of it. So in this particular case, where I am applying styles by the line, this is the perfect solution. And remember again, if I have 1,000 of these listings, I'm actually done formatting those 1,000 listings just by setting up nested styles. So it is a very powerful feature. And we're going to continue discussing nested styles in the upcoming lesson.